You can't overestimate the importance of clothing and character design, since it's really where you can say the most about who this person is. So, when you're designing a character, here's some things to consider and resources to use that will help you take advantage of this and not miss out on the opportunity to make your designs really impressive. After you have a basic idea for your character in mind, there are some details you need to figure out before you can know what they should wear. It can be based on the climate they live in, the time period or setting, their class, what materials they would have access to, what their role is, and finally, their personality. Think of a character in visual media that you like, and then imagine them in just basic jeans and a plain t-shirt. Unless that was what they already wear, you can probably see how all evidence of their personality and background are removed. And it might be kind of funny. But you don't want that. Your character you have in mind probably, or at least hopefully, has things other than their body proportions and face that make them stand out and say something about who they are. Shape design is key to making your design more iconic. For this, think about how the whole character looks rather than just focusing on individual parts. You probably know that a good design should have a recognizable silhouette, and clothing can be the thing that accomplishes this. Think about how things should fit, whether they should be loose or tight. Maybe you've heard of or recognized the trope of giving characters either big loose pants or a big loose jacket, and if you haven't noticed it before, you will start to now. While this can feel sort of like a cheat or overused design choice, it also does work, and that's because it creates variety. If you go down either of these silhouettes, the width changes a lot. It's wide at some points and more narrow in others. A character that is about the same width from top to bottom is often not going to look nearly as interesting without making it up with other good design choices. So varying the width is a pretty sure way to give your character a solid, recognizable silhouette. Another thing to be aware of is shape sizes. The articles of clothing you use should vary in size. Think of the big, medium, small design principle. Maybe the big could be an oversized cloak, medium could be pants, and small could be boots, a hat, and accessories. The same should apply to color. Pick a color to be the most frequent, and then work your way down. You can draw attention to specific articles of clothing by giving them a less used color. Making an article of clothing very saturated will also do this. Red is a popular choice because it's really the most standout, bold color there is, so whatever you put it on is going to seem like it has significance. My character Clix is a pretty clear example of this. Her cloak wings are an important part of who she is, so I made them a saturated, bold red. Moving on to details, which can be patterns or decorative elements, and should also be used strategically to create focus. Wherever you choose to put detail is going to become a focal point. If you put details everywhere, then every part of the outfit is competing against the rest for attention, and it becomes pretty overwhelming to look at. So, condense your detail into certain areas, and then leave empty, less interesting space for the design to breathe. Be aware of material when working with clothing. You don't need to just limit yourself to basic cloth with varying degrees of bagginess. You can make really interesting designs by changing up the texture and reflectiveness of the materials you incorporate. You can make the cloth shiny if you want. That could be really interesting. Or add in shiny, reflective material with armor, jewelry, or other metal things. Not all material is flat either. You can use varying degrees of fluffiness, and even that can have different textures. Fur and wool, for example, are both soft, but look pretty different. If you don't feel very confident drawing or painting these sorts of materials, and even if you do, reference will really help you out. It's a good idea to find reference in general, especially when your character is based in a historical setting. This costume rental website that I'll have linked in the description is really cool because it has a lot of categories you can look through for different time periods and clothing types, and Pinterest is also quite useful for when you need to search for a specific article or type of clothing. And if you teach the algorithm that clothing and fashion is something you like, it'll give you recommendations that you can throw in a Pinterest board for later use and inspiration. Here's a video where I share some more character design tips. Thanks for watching!